episode 58 of Community Service Hour. We are live, broadcasting from Philadelphia with our special guest, Harry.
What's up?
We have Apple Podcasts set up. Here's the top of our show notes. Apple Podcasts, you click that. Here's what it looks like. Okay, we're going to do 50-50 of new vodka. And then our 5 Farms cream.
Ooh.
Yeah, good times. We've got special guest on the line. Does everyone have speaker access? We were talking about dynamic QR codes.
Yo. Okay. If only I had some rhymes ready for this. I still got to get on that page. But kind of simple. The concept is in Dogecoin, it's Doge and coin. So we took a dog tag and turned it into a Doge tag. And the back of the Doge tag has an engraving for anybody to put their crypto wallet address in QR code form so that when someone scans it, they can send them Dogecoin or really any crypto once it's scanned. The nuance that me and Will have been discussing has been make it a dynamic QR code and have it so that it can switch to all sorts of different functions, as opposed to just, being for crypto or for a URL or for a text message, but, switching between the different functions by changing what the redirect is. If you have a dynamic QR code, that means that there is some form of URL or URI that is embedded, the same one, but what the URL points to can change. So you can change what web page the QR code points to. So you can trigger different kinds of effects using the same image printed or engraved on the tag. Yeah. Any questions about that?
Perfect. And I'd ask you to please send me, when you get a sec, different examples of QR codes, different QR codes that you like. If you wanted to go to a website, give me a QR code of a website. If you want to go to a crypto transaction, give me a QR code of a crypto transaction. If you want to go to SMS message, give me a QR code of a SMS message. These individual parts are pretty easy. You can find those in a lot of different places. So I think you can figure that out, or, we'll catch up on those too. But we want to get those into a lasso around that, and we want to get it into a dynamic QR code that's going to go to these different things, right? We just want to nail down what it is that we're doing and then stand up a demo and then go from there. Shoot for the moon.
To the moon! To the moon! Well, I don't think they would be QR codes I'd be sending you. They would be what the QR code stands for. I'd be sending you the information because when my manufacturer creates the QR code, they're actually creating the QR, so I don't actually have the QR that they would be using.
So let's talk about that for a sec. So I am asking you for a QR code. The QR code that you can give to me is not going to be the QR code that goes on the dog tag. For example, you can give me one QR code that goes to your homepage. You give me a second QR code that is send you a text message. You're going to give me 2 ping files. You're going to say, these are the 2 things I want. Also, before you send them to me, check them. So just use your own phone and check the 2 things work exactly how you want those things to work. And then you say, Will, I need to make these 2 things dynamic. I need one thing that goes into either one of these, depending on how I feel today. And so that's the part I'm going to step in, and I'm going to make you a new QR code, going to connect these things together.
Okay. Word.
It's not too technical, right? You're out of frame. Oh. Let's bring our special guest. Harry's coming from China, a whole different world out there, literally a whole different internet than us, totally different app ecosystem. But surprisingly, China also uses QR codes. So I wanted to get your perspective just on QR codes.
Well, especially during COVID time, lockdown, QR codes every day, starting with how I could enter the subway. You won't be allowed on the subway unless you scan their QR code and they document that you were on the subway at a certain entrance, and then they know where you got off and they know where you get back on. That was all done to trace the movement of people in case there was a severe outbreak. So basically you have to go to a local test site. They popped up all over the city, and they scan your QR code, then you get swabbed and tested, and within 24 hours the test results pop up, and in the background of your QR code you're going to have 2 main colors, green or red. And or you don't want red. Let's say that, because that means you're going to get another test, and you're going to have to test negative for a while before that background of the code turns back to green, which essentially says you can go into public places, you can take public transportation.
This is everybody.
Yeah.
What's the oldest person you've seen scan a QR code?
They must have been in their 80s. But sometimes, there's, because of the senior citizen learning gap, recording our application, and they're going to have to file that differently than the system that was doing the QR codes. But it's incredible, like, how convenient the QR codes have made life in China, especially before COVID. There are other major applications. For example, advertising. If you saw an advertisement on a wall in the subway, there's always a QR code.
It's a higher level of awareness across all age groups, and this is for public sector and also advertising in the private sector.
Yep. Among citizens, just sharing, connecting with people. It's a quick way to, instead of having to search with someone, you just scan their QR code and you can become friends.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to get this perspective on Rito here. So if someone's walking around with a dog collar that is a QR code, is anybody going to be afraid to scan it, even if they don't know this guy so well? If you go to a concert, if he's performing, you talk to this guy and he flashes the code, you're going to know what it is. Just east-west perspective, is that cool? Is that out? Is that in? Is that...
I think it's a high level of convenience.
I have a question. What data and what are the traits of the proof of personhood here? What are we scanning? Instead of scanning, can we sign it? Can we have the collaboration with the major entity and with the community itself? Because it's just basic game theory, if you ask me.
I'm going to actually take your question down a notch, because when you scan it, you don't know.
Yes.
You got no idea. They all look the same.
That's so bad. Basic physics, like if you even energy transfers cost something, like it's basically a law.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen a movie, for example, that depicts that. So I feel like that's not something that people have really thought of.
Okay, let's think about the worst case scenario here. We are like gonna be scanning our data all the time, but what if it's burnable, temporary? Can we do that? That would be an agreement.
I love it. You are talking about application-specific use cases, and
Yes,
I love it.
Product manager.
In order to make this work, you're going to have to scan it with an app instead of your camera. But the cool thing about QR codes, if you're doing them properly, a QR code should always open a web page. You should never scan a QR code and it's like, sorry, you failed. And not like Reddit. Reddit's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to look at Reddit? Because we want you to download our app. Are you sure? Go f*** yourself, Reddit. We've got a second use case here. So is this something you want to talk about in this call?
Yeah, of course. I'm doing a project right now. My name is Elif, like a Python conditional. I'm from Philly, actually originally from Turkey. Currently, I'm creating a more inclusive and more supportive, creator economy-driven social event management platform with my partner. I'm trying to figure out how to do Phygitals in the form of application workflow with a single sign. What direction should I go? How to design it properly, maybe.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is a great question. This is a creator economy app, DApp. We're talking about Phygitals. A Phygital is when you have some type of NFT, usually NFT, and some type of physical thing, and then they're connected somehow.
Okay.
I'll show you what UX looks like. People from Philly can relate to this. Here's me buying something at Wawa today.
Welcome to Wawa. Please scan your Wawa rewards card now.
That's it. Did you miss it? Did you blink? Scan, pay, receipt. That's it. This is where we have to get to with everything. My first question is, do we need a signature? Why do we need a Phygital? Is this going to be a distraction from your product? What if you want to tie it to online experiences? That makes sense. You've got a physical and a digital thing.
Here's some specific examples. So it could be a community merge only, or community privileged core members in different or supportive roles.
But why aren't you just giving them things?
To support the community, reward them for their contributions in exchange of skill sets with their agreement with the community members or whatever.
Why not just give them cool merch and then send them tokens unrelated to the merch?
But it has no sentimental value.
If YouTube sends me a platinum for having 1 million subscribers, I will feel...
You might find a spot on the wall for it somewhere.
I'll put it over there.
The bookshelf.
That would be sentimental.
I mean, think about in the future and interoperability here. What I'm trying you to envision a metaverse that is like on a Google map, that you can actually create this discounts and give like location-based data, like to the NFTs, maybe to your loyal members, and it operates on the map because map is a advanced function.
You're going to make an NFT, you're going to give it away. It's going to support new use cases that are pretty cool. Location, mutability, connecting with your personality or your status, or you're also talking about 3D models in metaverse. And you're also talking about interoperability. We have an idea of what this interoperability is going to be like, but none of the infrastructure is there to build on.
Why not brainstorm about it?
Yeah. So just assume that this metaverse exists. Let's give away an NFT and attach it to a 3D model and have a mutable component where people can put statuses or colors or whatever. Let's have a location and let's just shove all this stuff in there.
That's one of my actually envisioning as a future coming.
Let's do it. Metadata JSON schema format. So here's the format.
I don't know how to write it.
I got you. There's 3 identified metadata things: name, description, and image. That's it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid of having stupid ideas, and just let's go do it. So the next step for you is here. Just spell out all the kinds of metadata that you might want to connect to the NFTs. And I mean spell out like a Word file. Location. What location? The place where you made it? Is it the place where it physically is? Is it location in metaverse?
Promotions or update. You could add percent commission, maybe like a discount if it's like a restaurant, pizza restaurant that you want to share with your friends, the NFT or like the privileges. You want to share something. You want to share that discount or access as if we are inviting a Discord invite, expanding our community for that restaurant business.
That's it. But you got to write all this stuff out. You got to come back with a Word file, pages of this stuff. You're doing new things business-wise and creatively.
Yeah.
This all lines up. You're making a sandbox. So the minute that you make this, it's not going to connect to anything else. No one else is doing the same thing, so it's not going to connect or interoperate. It doesn't matter. You make a sandbox, you're the first person there. So you got to invite other people to show up.
So the mission is going to be like idea is going to be, why not stick in one universe but actually extend to the parallel levels of it. So map is another extension of.
I want to push you to the next step. Metadata that you would attach to the token. I think that's something you can articulate today.
Okay, that's another objective.
Let's put this together. But right now, we've just got to brainstorm.
And how can I help in return then? That means a lot to me. Thank you, first of all.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the help, and this is what the mindset we have to achieve, like in the future. But what can I do in return, like in exchange of?
You're welcome, and thank you. The reason I show up on these calls is so we can succeed. You succeeding is me succeeding. I'm bragging about you. We get off this call, and I'm going to say, you know what I talked with Elif about? The future. These things are coming. So don't let me down. Do the hard work, and let me brag about you and be like, this is why we're doing this stuff. Let's make everyone jealous who wasn't here today.
Okay, what is the deadline for this?
Next week. These are sprints, baby.
That's a fast sprint. A weekly sprint. That's pretty good.
An important part of sprint is it's got to be achievable. You can't be dropping sprints on people like, okay, I want you to refactor. You're not refactoring in 1 week, ever. And wrong answers are accepted too. Is that something that you might be able to work on for this sprint?
Yes, of course. It's just going to be fun. I'm going to be very happy about it.
I'm the Sherpa here. I'm just helping you get up the mountain. So I'm going to tell you, this is the technology you need. The technology serves you.
If you want to help out, Elif, invite more people to the spaces. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I can offer some help. Of course, yeah.
And that just makes yourself more accountable. If your family and friends on this call, it's more likely you're going to do it. All right, what's good, Dan?
Yeah, this is all great stuff. I've been listening in because I'm still moving around in the midst of transitioning back to being in China. I like us thinking about if we follow up like the following week, and it's like, okay, so how do we do and what's next? and it's okay if we don't get everything done that we said we would, because that's life. I think just that follow-up mechanism, and just the fact that like we can look back and learn and snowball stuff over time is can be really powerful.
Word. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let's go.